on a computer or something. It says I have 0 viewers. Can you see if you can hear me? Hello? 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 You can hear me. Thank you. Hello. It's been a little bit of a journey to get here. I have no idea how long this will last, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you. Well, I hope everyone else is having a good evening. It's been a long day, a lot to do, and then Restream was giving me hell, and it's still giving me a problem. Okay, thanks for checking multiple places. If the sound gets funky again, let me know too. I don't know if I can fix it this time, but we'll see where we're at. Yeah, that was fun. How are you doing tonight? Well, I will talk about Colorado Springs Comic-Con then. I got back on Monday, not too late, around 11 p.m. So, oh, Desiree says she's hanging in there, but staying logged into Twitch for your numbers. I'm okay. Rolled my ankle. Get it X-rayed tomorrow. We're both disasters, Desiree. Right now, we are both walking triage, as it were. I did get the last other sketches to get done and finished. I have not been to the post office, so I'm sorry. I got to Colorado, I got back. I've just been dealing with one thing after the other. The cat's not doing so good. I mean, he's like 20 years old, so it's not unexpected. So we're dealing with a lot of stuff at Casa de Guillen. It must have created a new thing instead of going to the old listing. I'm not sure I can edit it on the fly. Let me take a look. No, I can't. I guess we're going with last week's titles too. It's just a disaster tonight, so you'll have to forgive me. Restream was not working at all. I was on their tech support line, and they were basically like, well, we can't do anything. You have to call Comcast. So didn't have time to call Comcast. Don't have much of a backup. So let me see if I can update the title at least. I would love to take a day off, but my problems wait for no man. We'll do a little sketching. We'll call it an early night, and I'll, just share a little bit from the road. Because as far as my numbers and people checking stuff out, the first one after a show is always the most important because, I'm at the show promoting that this happens every week. And, yeah, if I miss the first one, then that is not a good impression. So it looks like I'm streaming to the old titles because Restream was being difficult. I'm just surprised it even kicked on. It was either that or it was going to be just on either Facebook or YouTube, and who the hell knows what's going on. I don't know. I'm too stupid to fix it, so, or at least with like tech stuff. Like, I don't know why it has worked every week for, years now. And today it decided to not work. So here we are. See if we can salvage it. Try to at least draw something okay. The convention was good. I got to see some really excellent people. I got to see some friends I've made there over the years that I've missed a great deal. My buddy Kevin was there. He's in this chat sometimes. He's a huge Aquaman fan. My friend Ashley was there. I got to meet her whole family, which was very cool. Ace. A few other artists that I've met there over the years. It was crazy busy, let me tell you. The lines for Bruce Campbell and Elvira stretched to Wyoming, it seemed. And I took it a little easier when it came to the altitude this time because the altitude sickness hit me last time I was out there. My usual routine when I travel to a show is I land, I get to where I'm going, and then if I have time, I usually work out. And last time I did that, I felt great. I was in really good shape last year. And that night, I got altitude sickness really badly. Like I had chest pains, I had trouble breathing. So this year, I kind of took it easy on the workout end. I didn't really get one in. I did see Bruce. Yes, I saw him at his booth, and I saw him in the green room. He had a big red suit on, looking sharp as per usual. And like everybody that came by the booth that was not a comic person, it seemed was there to meet Bruce Campbell. Like it seemed pretty obvious that he was the big draw, at least in the people that I met. There were tons of other celebrities and whatnot there, but like everybody had their boomstick shirts. Everybody had their um, Ashley Williams cosplay going on. I did not see a single Elvis, which was personally disappointing. But maybe next time I'll throw on a jumpsuit and the sunglasses. I did go as Elvis one year. It was I think my senior year for Halloween. Back in college when you did silly things like that. I had the cape and everything. There's a picture of it somewhere. Not that anybody wants to see me in the Elvis suit. Hey Isaiah, how are you today? Good to see you. Friday was actually quite busy. I was surprised at how busy Friday was. Fridays can, be hit or miss, but I was lucky. A lot of people came to see me. I did sign another gigantic spoon, which was what happened last year. It was the same young lady, an author, had me sign a giant spoon. They say they have it hanging in their house. It's a good discussion piece. I drew a tick head on it. Oh, I can complain, Isaiah. I can. You are on a higher plane of existence than I am this evening. I got some complaints. We'll push through. I'm drawing Conan, so that's really nice. And I did send an email to the NEC press folks today because everyone, that came by was asking about the Tick and if there'd be new Tick comics. So Townsend brought a giant spoon to the picket line. Excellent, excellent. I will. I will save them. I promise. Hopefully, I forget about them by Festivus. That would be good. We'll get out the giant stick. We'll pass it around. Have a few laughs. Saturday was crazy at the show. It got super, super scary busy. I was across from Amanda, Connor, and Jimmy Palmiotti, and I got to talk to them for a bit. Ride with the shuttle with them back and forth to the hotel. Talked about the comic industry. Jimmy's a smart guy. Amanda's awesome. She's just such a great artist, and yeah, it was a pleasure to get to talk to them for a little bit. And I got to talk to Christopher Priest, which was awesome. I love Priest's writing. Even before he was Christopher Priest, when he was working under James Owsley. So does this look as bent to you as it does to me? Yeah, that was a bad move on my part. Look at that rank amateur stuff right there. That's how you know I was getting messed up by the freaking restream help chat. I got to sit next to Chris Campana for the show, which was just awesome. He's a great person to talk to, especially when you're dealing with some stuff. He always has a good perspective and doesn't jump to conclusions too quickly. I think everybody has some of those friends who mean well, but they're like, no, this is. When you give them like the details, they're like, no, you have to do this. He takes it in, listens to you, and asks insightful questions. It's a good person to hang out with at a show. And we did run into the usual, because Colorado Springs is still a newer show. And it's a celebrity focused show. We still have to go there with the added responsibility of introducing people to comics. And that was actually something I talked to Jimmy Palmiotti about, and I mentioned it to him in the car ride because they were wondering how many people would come up to, my booth or Christopher Priest's booth and know that I made comics. Because we had the do you draw these questions and that kind of stuff. Mike DeFonte is in the house. Hello, Mike. I know I owe you a critique. I will send you that stuff as soon as I can. Dealing with a crap load of stuff at home right now. Mike's been drawing up a storm lately, gotta tell you. One thing that was delightful at the show was the fact that people came to check out Undersea Hero, like more than a couple, and some people that I didn't even know. So that was delightful. Made me feel really good because when you're me, I tend to wonder if people are buying my artwork because they like it, or if because they like maybe a character that I drew. Like they collect Batman or Deadpool or something. And that's the main reason they're picking it up. But I know with Undersea Hero, nobody else has drawn it, so everybody's all. There's actually a phone call from an editor at 8:30 at night, and everybody knows where I'm at 8:30 at night. On a Wednesday at 8:30. Within about a foot and a half where I'm standing usually. Do editors call you at 8:30 at night? That one does. Definitely that one. Oh, Mike says he just got print copies of his new book. Congratulations. Round of applause. I guess it's a round. Do it in a circle. There we go. Are you happy with it? Did the paper look good? Did you find that one spelling mistake that everybody misses on their own books? On Undersea Hero 0, there's one really bad spacing error. I can't even look at that page. It's such a small thing, but I can't even look at it. Everything looks good so far. Excellent. Excellent. I don't know about any of the other creators in the audience tonight, but I have a tendency to just stare at those copies until I find something. I'm looking for something. That's really unhealthy to do, but I don't know. I take such pride in the work that I just want it to be as good as I can make it. Grab my I should have expected that phone call because I did email that guy today, but I didn't. So, oh well. I'm muttering. That's what I do. No, I did not. Well, I mean, the after party for the show was at the hotel I was staying at, so I was like near it, but I did not go dancing or any of that. That's not my style. I saw a couple of people outside of it, and then I just went upstairs and crashed because the altitude still affected me, and I was just tired. Like after a full day at a convention, man, I just get wiped. This time you went with Comics Wellspring instead of Maxim, and you like the results. Some people like them, yeah. I've never used them, but I've definitely read comics printed by them. I've read a bunch. They're pretty popular. They're definitely digital printing. I've been curious if they had like more of a because everything I see from them, and I don't know if it's the choice of the people making the books or what, super shiny, like high gloss everything. And I actually prefer like a matte finish. The only time I've ended up printing on gloss is when there were paper shortages, and they basically were like, if you want it on like matte, you're gonna have to wait, you know, a month and a half for your books or whatever. And I said, nope, just go with what you got. That was more or less because I felt like I had to. Would I consider doing LA Comic Con? Yeah, absolutely. If they, I mean, I just actually just filed my taxes because I had to pay those for San Diego. So like I kind of know that I'm not looking for them to fly me out there, but I would really like to try to at least get like a spot for not the thousands of dollars that it costs to do uh, San Diego. That was the issue that I ran into with San Diego was just the cost. And I did my best to promote and stuff, but yeah, it was just so expensive for a one man band. Yeah, I mean, if you know anybody at the show or can put me in touch with anybody, just let me know. I'm always happy to talk to people. I promise I'm not a high maintenance comic book guest. I show up, I work the whole time. I'm happy to do panels or whatever. Mike says the one that he received has a decent matte finish. Well, that's good to hear. That's cool. So I'll just attribute it to people wanting that super shiny look on their books, which I understand. Like it's a certain look, especially if you're doing, really slick computer coloring or whatever. Got a handful of people in here tonight, which is very nice. More than a few. Michael says he did 70-pound uncoated text on white paper. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, Saturday got crazy busy. Like it was a crush in there. And then I don't know if they opened up another door or moved some people around, but then, about a half hour after it was like crazy busy, it opened up and it gave people more of an opportunity to, shop and move around and stuff. It was just like it was that busy on Saturday. Wrap that eyebrow around that eye socket. I'm trying to remember. I've used also a satin paper, and that looks pretty good. It's like a semi-gloss, but yeah, uncoated. I even like a dull finish. That's really good too, especially with like the digital printing, because the digital printing itself adds a little bit of a sheen to it because it's not ink. It's actually melted powder plastic, which is toner. Let's say our light source is over here. I thought it was a great show overall. I mean, I don't get to hang out with too many people, but like most of the artists I talked to did well. And it's always fun at the end. I'm trying to think of it. My neighbor's name was Regan. I can't remember her last name, but she was a very good artist. AC Canales, who's a Colorado-based artist. I saw him. I had dinner with his booth helper, my friend Kevin. I met a couple of other artists at that dinner. It was not one of those gigantic Comic-Con dinners where it's like 50 artists talking for 10 hours. It's Billy. How's Billy doing? I caught part one of the Joe St. Pierre expose today. I enjoyed that. I'd heard the Barry Windsor Smith story before. It's a good one. But yeah, I caught that today while I was working. That was a good interview. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, let's just pick a time. I mean, Wednesday nights are no good for me, but we'll figure it out and let people know about the Undersea Hero Kickstarter and all that good stuff. I can ramble on about the tick. But yeah, I enjoyed your talk with Joe. I hadn't seen the Spider-Man commission that you mentioned though. The one that he had where you had him draw like your family or something. I hadn't seen that. I bug Joe pretty often. I usually get to usually uh, I don't know what the right word is, cajole him into showing me his commissioned work that he's been working on. And I didn't see that one, so surprising. Come on, Joe, show me what you got on the drawing table. I'd seen the jam pieces, of course. Like I know the Billy Motu jam, where I'm on there with Campana and Scott Hanna, a couple other guys. I just want him to work on more of the new Zodiacs, and he's going to do an Undersea Hero piece for me. I don't know when. It's whenever he can fit it into his schedule. I just messaged NEC because they bring stuff up and at random points, and then I follow up and see if anything's happening with it. So I try to stay on the ball with that stuff. It's tough. It's tough. They're a small publisher, still put out by a store. Oh, for the jams, that's right. Yes, yes. And some of the guys are local, like Sean Wong is not too far away. Eli's in New England. There's a few people that are in New England. Tak, he's in New England. But yeah, there's a handful of tick artists that are in different places. Like Dave Garcia is a West Coast guy. I don't know where Les is. Les McLean. He's on Twitter, but I've never met him. Gabe's a West Coaster. There's a few folks. Obviously, Ben's a West Coaster. That's the toughest one to get. He basically shows up randomly at shows when he feels like it. Let's get some shadows in here, right? For light sources over here, we need some shadows. Pick out some nice spots for some added. Let's grab our eraser. It might be a early night tonight, so bear with me. It was the struggle with Restream that threw me off this evening, so it's taking me a little bit to get my drawing mojo going. That's where the other side of his hip would be. Part of his leg here. That's where the glute would be. There we go. I guess the second issue of Conan is out. It's getting good reviews. Congrats to the team over at Titan. I got any Conan books right next to me? I usually do. Oh yeah, there's a nice one. Boom. We got Pablo Marcos on inks on this one. I always thought that he gave some of his faces like a little bit of a Neil Adams quality back in the day. His drawing style changed over the years, but definitely. Reference for his belt. Which is just, in this case, like 3 gold spheres. That's not a metaphor for anything. Hey, Jonathan. Good to see you, man. Sorry for the delay. It was Restream and my internet giving me problems. It's been a tough evening. So, but we're here. We're doing stuff. Things are happening. Stuff is happening. How are things with the Brown estate? One thing I can do that's always nice is I can open a new pen. I agree, Jonathan. It is going to be an early bedtime night. Going to have myself a nice mediocre glass of wine and just head off towards the sunset, as I like to say. But yeah, you missed some of it. But yeah, it was a really good show. I actually sold the last of the graded Conans that I had, the 9.6 that sold at the show. So did the 9.6 of Undersea Hero, which you could have knocked me over with a feather when they were like, yeah, we'd like the graded one, which, is like 10 times as much as the regular one. But that's what you collect, that's what you like. But as far as like my Conan cover, I think the only ones on the census are the 3 that I sent in. So it's 2 9.8s and a 9.6. I think that's it. Gotta wrap that around. There we go. It's not bad. That's not a bad face. I can live with that. When these pens are fresh, whew, they are slick, man. Love the feeling of them. You can almost get a little light feathering with them. I mean, these are the best. See that? See the change in thickness there? Let's see if we can zoom in a little more. There we go. Did I see any big books there? I just try to think of like they had a bunch of the rare modern stuff, like really rare variants. So like honestly, that stuff I don't know enough about to be like, oh, is this like the biggest book I saw? For old stuff, I saw some Silver Age Marvel first appearances. I did not see an Amazing Fantasy 15. Um, I did not see an X-Men 1, which is kind of surprising. That's usually one of the ones I do see around. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I had the pleasure of inking a Conan by Chris Campana on a sketch cover, which I also have to ship out, which just sold when we got back to a big Conan collector over in Spain. I was cooking on that cover. That was the best inking for like an adventure style I've done for in a little while. It felt good. It was almost all brush. Let's get that brush out. Let's see if we can sing a little bit. One thing that helped with that other piece is that it was just a headshot, so it was a lot larger. But man, do I love inking with a brush when I can just go. And Chris is totally, when it comes to collaborating, he's like, put the work in and do your thing. He won't let you be lazy, but he will let you, he will let you do your thing on a piece, which is a nice feeling when someone supports you that way, when you're collaborating. Anytime anybody wants a collaboration between Chris and I'm down. I'm happy playing, you know, being an anchor in that situation because I know I'm working with good pencils. He's not going to phone it in. And I think we make a pretty decent finished product. This drawing's already spoken for. It's the last sketch. I thought I finished the last sketch, but this is the last sketch that was ordered with the Conan one comics yet to be shipped. Me, when I'm making with a brush, I have to have some confidence. If I'm having a bad day and I'm, being tentative, my brush inking is garbage. But I'm able to pull it together. I've done it so much and I've forced myself to do it because I think it's an important skill, even just to try it. Like I don't think it does any harm to like try this and fail. And I really think it gives a great perspective on what comic book inking has been traditionally for 100 years. Like I can always tell when someone is faking doing brushwork with a pen. But when you get it, when you do it right and you put it in, it's tough to beat, man. And it's true, not everybody's work looks good with brush inking. Like it can be, I think some people think it has to be too smooth, like it has to be slick. It has to be. You have to be, Terry Austin or whatever. But Terry was a pen guy. Use those rapidographs. And he actually made custom nibs, like he would file down his crow quills. This is, this is the Kuretake Sable brush pen. In my opinion, it's some of the best bristles on the market, period, whether it's a brush or a brush pen. I used Raphael for years after the Winsor Newtons went to hell. And I think these are better. I really do. Hey, Ethan, how you doing? Glad you can make it. With a brush, you just got to let it rip. I mean, if you're tentative with it, it looks nervous. Like the lines look nervous. Just a little break there. You see you have the cast shadow from the hair. His head comes down and it comes back up. Ethan asks, after looking at your new Facebook cover page, what's your favorite title that you've worked on, not including your new Underwater Man series? I mean, it's tough for me to not say Conan just because I grew up reading it so much. Like I liked Ninja Turtles as a kid, but I definitely did not keep up with that stuff. Like I've read the IDW stuff since I worked on it, but honestly, I haven't been a regular reader since the last Mirage boot in the 2000s when Peter came back on and was basically doing comics full time again, which I don't know if a lot of people read those. They were great. I might actually bust out some dry brush here if we can, just for this background portion. I think that would look nice. You guys like dry brush? You Freely says, "Oh, I love Kuretake pocket brush pen. Watching you here in the Philippines. Oh, wow, cool. Some amazing artists came from the Philippines. Some of my favorites. Rudy Nebres, man. That guy, I mean, these brush pens were invented by those guys, really, really, truly. I was talking about it this weekend at the show. Tony DeZuniga brought all those guys through Joe Orlando and Paul Levitz. Amazing artists. It was actually at San Diego. One of the artists I wanted to meet was Alex Nino, and he did not show up this year. That was like the one artist I was like, I gotta meet Alex Nino. He's one of the best artists, alive on the planet today. I can honestly say that at 2 separate times prior to that, I believe I met the best living artist on the planet. But, uh, Ethan says, "Glad Marvel is still making Conan." Marvel is not making Conan. It's actually at, Titan, which is a British company. And the first issue actually outsold the Marvel relaunch, which is pretty cool. Dry brush is when you use just a little tiny bit of ink and then you pull it and you get a nice something like that. If I move fast on it, this is a wet brush, but if you move quickly, you can get that dry brush effect. I'm going to use like a 1/4 inch shader and pull it across. Just give it a nice pull. Freely says Alexinho is amazing. He absolutely is just incredible, an incredible artist. Yeah, honestly, if it stayed at Marvel, the chances of me ever getting to work on it are very low. So I actually, when it first went to Titan, when I saw they got the announcement, I actually started sending them work and emails like, "Hey, I'm a big fan. I'm pretty okay at drawing, and for Conan, I work pretty cheap." All the way in the Philippines. That's cool. We got people on the West Coast. We got people on the East Coast. I mean, come on, that's pretty neat. You know, hanging out, just enjoying some art. Your favorite? Ethan says his favorite thing to draw is his friends and family dressed up as their favorite superheroes. Nice, nice. Well, if I get requests for that, I will point them in your direction because I find that a very daunting request. So I'll have to ask you what your secret is with keeping people happy with their likenesses. I once had a portrait teacher uh, basically explain to me that you try to draw what looks like they think they look like. Now that's a tall order because you're guessing like kind of what their self-image is or an aspirational version of said self-image. So yeah, you'll have to tell me your secret, Ethan, because clearly there is one. For anyone wondering, this was just supposedly a bust sketch, but anytime I'm a little late on stuff, I always add a little extra effort and try to make it a little prettier. Not that I don't think the busts are nice, it's just that, I put more time in it. I have it down to where I need to know how long I'm investing into each piece. Gotta push this back a little bit. Be like Deadpool, maximum effort. Yes. I always try to, because I know I'm not the fastest guy with getting stuff shipped out. So I at least try to, throw in some extra stuff, make the drawing a little nicer, or, throw remarks on things when people don't, you know, expect them. And everybody gets an envelope drawing. That's just part of the ordering from my website experience. It's a little late, but he drew this sarcastic looking superhero on my box, so I forgive him. Ethan says, to me, it's getting their height and hair colors and styles right. The family portrait, plus I'm cheap. 50 for a fam. I hope you're getting enough for your time, because, it's still a discipline to do this. Send me a picture sometime. I'd love to see it, man. I like seeing everybody's work. We still have to do the inking. I don't know. We'll call it exercise. We'll just call it an exercise. It's not even. I don't want to call it a contest. I'll think of something nice to send to everybody that participates. Maybe like a postcard with a doodle on it or something. Maybe that would be nice. So that I don't want to ask people to do work for free, and it's not something I'm keeping or anything. It's yours to do with as you wish, but still, you participating, exercise. I have some ink here. That'd make this go faster. Sweet. Huzzah! Do my dropping. Takes me an hour. I message you after the cast a couple of pics. Cool. Oh, no worries. Yeah. You don't have to send me stuff. It's all good. I just like seeing people's work. I think it's sharing art with the world. It helps enrich things quite a bit. Ethan asks, when is the deadline for your Aqua comic and how do I donate? Undersea Hero comes to Kickstarter in November. Probably going to be right around my birthday on the 16th. And yeah, you got a month after that to pledge and support. And, I'd hope to have the book done by the time it launches, but that's unfortunately not going to be the case. Um, but I will keep everyone updated, I promise. It will get done. It'll get done hopefully before the end of the year. I know we have to put like a delivery deadline and stuff in on the campaign, so I'm gonna see where I'm at when we get close to launch, and then we'll ballpark it, and we will make it happen. Although I will say, after dealing with some international shipping orders, I am considering making it domestic only because it has been a bear just shipping a handful of things, filling out forms, and yeah, it's just been a lot of extra work for one person who has to do all the art and everything on top of it. So there's some of this pencil mark. So yeah, we've got time. The issue 0 that you've seen going around is it's a preview. It's got a preview of the Great Barrier Reef, which is the story of the first story. It's book 1, but it's a complete story. So it's not quite a trade. It's an oversized issue, but it's a standalone story that leads into the potential for the sequel. So I wrote it in such a way that I don't think I can get out of doing at least one more, even if I have to do it completely on my own, depending on how the campaign goes. So I think we're locked in for 2 oversized books, which would make for one like regular sized trade. And if that's it, then that'd be great. I'd be really proud to have gotten that much done on my own. It's my first solo Kickstarter, so I really need everybody's help. Just getting the word out and telling people that they think it looks good. He's got like his arm on his leg there, so. Let me see if I have that 1/4 inch shader here. Hold on. Aha. Now this is the cheapest type of brush you can buy. This is fully synthetic. Bought it at Michael's. Paint's falling off, but it gets a really nice effect when you use it right. And it's because the bristles are a little stiffer and they don't hold as much paint, so it's really good for dry brush. There is a use for crummy brushes. Just knowing how to use them. You know, when you're trying to use a crummy brush to do washes and things like that, you're going to be frustrated to no end. But for doing something like we're going to do here tonight, it does a lovely job. Oh, thank you. Ethan says it'll be his first Kickstarter. It's I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous. Hopefully when we're like a week in, you know, kind of like the second or third shift of a hockey game, I'll be in it and I'll be fine. I've had so many friends who are so good at them. You know, like Craig's really good at them. My friend Carissa, who just started, you know, making books, I don't know, a year ago. She's tremendous. It's on like her 6th book. Just tremendous. That's my phone telling me I did not use as much data this week as I did the week prior. Thanks, phone. I could put a little bit of texture on pretty much everything so that it has a visual break. You know, you can tell what everything is without having it colored. Yeah, I had really hoped, but like, man, life has been kicking my butt, so no way I'm having it done in advance. And that was my fear going into it. I wouldn't have it done, and that has come true just because of life stuff. Looks like we gotta add it. See, the beauty of actually, like with the restream, I can look up on the screen and see some places where some extra line thickness would help. Just shows off, and then it just gets a nice little pop when you add just a little bit more. A little bit more. Just a little here and there. Gives it a nice, more, what's the word? Gives it better volume. Oh, thanks so much, Desiree. Try not to mess up on the sword. Then we'll throw some dry brush behind him just so that you can see what that looks like. It's a fun technique. It's really fun. It's one that I recommend everybody try. I think if you were to compare this one to the one I inked over Chris, you would really see how like both of our styles showed through on that. It's just hard to do. It's hard to do. I've inked Chris on a couple of other things, so it was not my first time reading his pencils, and there was really only one thing that I had to ask him about, and it was like one of the eye placements that I just wanted to make sure that it was hair that he wanted over the eye and not where the iris is or whatever. Again, add little details like little chips missing from the sword and stuff like that. Stuff that nobody who just glances at it is going to notice, but if it's hanging on a wall and you're staring at it long enough, maybe you notice that, the sword had been in a battle. Michael says, if you're watching on YouTube, please add a like. It helps the channel. Spotlight for Mike. It's true, and I'm bad about asking people to like and subscribe to my channel. You want to be the hype man, Mike? We can make you the official hype man for the YouTube channel. All right, we need to get ourselves a poor man's version of Frisket, because I have no Frisket. What we're going to do is we're going to tear some paper and try to fit it over places where we don't want ink as tightly as we can. Something like that. We can always go back in and white some stuff out, but we've got some line thicknesses here that I want to keep. There we go. I think that'll work for that portion. You can probably hear my upstairs neighbors stomping around. All right, let's get a tiny piece of tape if we have one. Oh, my knees are going. It's true. That is true. I don't want to lose this. Ugh. I don't have my my pen knife on me, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go like that. Mike, you are hereby anointed the official hype man. I'll see if I can find a print house that'll print us one hat. Now, this will all make sense. All this stupidity you're watching me do right here, it'll all make sense when you see the technique we're going to use. Like I said, this is what I call the poor man's frisket, because if you just buy frisket, you can just paste it over and cut it off with a knife. And it works better than this, but we are who we are. So what we'll do is we'll paste that like that. Frisket is a translucent plastic material that you can lay down for both airbrush and inking technique. You can also use a cheap masking tape. Right now we're just blocking this off so that ink does not get on these parts of the drawing. As you can see, I'm just tearing pieces of paper because it's not, none of this is high tech. This is all pretty low tech. All right, looks like it's not going to be an early night for me because I am officially biting off more than I can chew with this. So welcome aboard. It's all right. That mediocre Merlot is calling my name. And yes, I was watching Bob Ross the other day, just enjoying it. And I was actually learning from it, just some of the ways he would talk about his technique and be as informative as he could be while actually doing far more difficult techniques than he makes it sound. Like, one of the things that he does so well is his layering, but what he doesn't explain so well is the pattern and the organic way to create intentional things that look unintentional, that don't look stiff. It's a very hard thing to do, and he's exquisite at it. All right, let's see where we're at as far as the. All right, yeah. Let's get some ink here. We'll put it on this little top that we have. If you're an artist, you save all your jars and stuff, and this is just a jar cap. Knock out that little bit of red paint that was in there. So we're going to put some ink in there. Just blob some ink in there. There's our brush. Let's knock off some of the ink so that there's less. You don't want it to be a full load of ink. Take this sucker off. There we go. There we go. Old man's still got a few tricks in him, right? Well, here's our dry brush technique. Hopefully I have a pair of scissors or something I can cut this with. I do. Fantastic. Look at that. It's almost like I had any time to prep for this. All right. I grab just a piece of chipboard here. That's true. He would paint it before, and the other thing that's crazy about Bob is he would paint 6 or 7 episodes in a day. Like he would do all those paintings in one day. And they'd film basically an entire season in a week. This is just a regular old box cutter. There we go. And we can see the back's clean. We can draw another picture on that. All right. Now we're going to do some other fun little things, and we can probably call it a night. These are some new pens I've been trying out because I saw them on a couple of artist streams. These are called Posca pens, and they're just a whiteout, different type of whiteout pen. Dry brush was the cherry on top of the CONAN sun. Thank you. Just a little bit of white here and there. I think I put too much, but one of the beauties of working in black and white is you can just let it dry a little bit, and then you can just grab some of your extra ink and just go back in there and cover it up again. Don't want it to go all the way to the edge, so let's lose that lower portion. Let's lose that. Okay, that'll do it. Anybody else see any lines I need to fix? Zoom out. Fancy zoom, the hand crank zoom. Grab what I call Whiteout Pen Classic. the Presto pen. A little early, 15 minutes early, so let's just sign this baby and call it a night. There we go. Hope everybody has a good evening, and yeah, barring any more unforeseen restream problems, I will see you next week, and have a lovely, lovely evening. And I thank you all, and take care. Good night.